Battle of Britain by Justin Leung. First things first, what was the Battle of Britain? It was July 1940. Nazi Germany had gained a lot of ground. So much ground. They had taken over all these countries. It was basically Nazi Europe. Right now, France has been invaded. Germany sets their sights on invading Great Britain. They first attack small towns and army camps on the English southern coast. This pressured British naval ships to pull out of the channel because of German threats in the south. The Nazis then focused their efforts on towns near London. However, that was when they realized that the Royal Air Force was extremely strong. Germany constantly tried taking down the Royal Air Force, which included bombing runways and airports. However, despite their tremendous efforts, the Royal Air Force did not fall. Hitler grew extremely frustrated that the invasion was taking so much longer than the Battle of France. The Battle of Britain took a total of 5 months, whereas the Battle of France only took 2. So, who won the Battle of Britain? First, let's have a look at Professor Adam Tooze's opinion.
1938. The naval armaments programme doesn't get into gear until January 1939. For the preceding 5 years, Britain had been outspending Germany on the navy, so the already enormous gap between the German navy and the British navy in 1933 had not been shrinking but growing larger every year.
So what Professor Adam Tooze is saying is that Great Britain had an advantage over Germany from the start, because Germany didn't put as much funding as Britain into their naval forces. However, Professor Tooze did not mention that the Royal Air Force had far less aircraft than the Germans. Way less. Overall, the Royal Air Force was able to fight off the Nazi Air Force despite having far less aircraft. The Nazis took a very long time to try and invade Great Britain and did not even get the result they were after. This was due to the sheer strength of the Royal Air Force over the Nazis. You can call the Battle of Britain the Air War. What effect did this have on World War II? The aftermath was devastation. Over 2,662 German casualties were recorded. The Royal Air Force lost 1,250 aircraft, including 1,017 fighters. Overall, 520 British men were killed serving the Royal Air Force. Considering these facts, the Battle of Britain was the first and largest aerial campaign in the World War II timeline. In fact, to this day, the Battle of Britain has remained the largest aerial bombing campaign in history. Before the Battle of Britain, Hitler was powerful. As explained before, the Nazis occupied most of Europe. The Battle of Britain was Hitler's first defeat in World War II. The Battle of Britain was an example of how a country could overcome Hitler's proud mindset and not succumb to his military strategies, like most other countries did at the time. Finally, the question that this whole assignment is around: was the Battle of Britain actually a turning point in World War II? We'll listen to the opinion of Professor Richard Overy first.
How important the Battle of Britain really was. Did the victory of the RAF actually prevent a Nazi invasion?
There's a popular argument, I think, now that Hitler never really intended to invade Britain, and that the Battle of Britain was in some sense an unnecessary battle. I mean, I think quite a bit of historical writing has suggested this argument. I think this is nonsense. I think that Hitler's plans to invade Britain, of course, are rather half-hearted, and it's an extremely difficult operation to carry out. But if Hitler could have got a cheap victory in 1940, it would have absolutely suited him.
At one point in the Battle of Britain, the German Air Force, also called Luftwaffe, had an advantage as the first bombing of London on September 7 was very successful. Hitler had a real chance of invading Great Britain. If Hitler successfully invaded Great Britain, then they would have invaded all of the major Allied powers in Europe. The Nazis would have conquered all of Europe, as Britain was the last hope for Europe to stand against the Nazis. However, the combination of bad decision-making and great British pressure, Hitler cracked. The second attack was appalling. The Luftwaffe pilots lost morale as the Royal Air Force increased in numbers and strategically eliminated mass numbers of Luftwaffe aircrafts. Throughout the rest of the World War, Britain was a major force in returning motivation into other Allied countries like France, United States, and Belgium. Britain was famous for its perseverance in World War II. They did not give up and provided other Allied powers with the inspiration to fight back with them. If it weren't for Britain's tremendous efforts in the Battle of Britain, the rest of the Allied powers would not have been able to become close to standing up to Nazi Europe.
If it weren't for the Battle of Britain, the Nazis would have invaded the last hope for the Allied powers, and therefore the Battle of Britain was a major turning point in World War II.